Welcome to Doctorspective. Every day, your body is sending out these tiny warning signals that, honestly, most of us completely ignore. I mean, a little extra thirst, feeling tired for no reason, blurry vision, or a scrape that's just taking forever to heal. They all seem totally harmless, right? But what if these small changes are actually your body's way of whispering to you that diabetes could be developing? So, what if your body is warning you right now? In today's Doctorspective Explainer, we're going to uncover the 10 silent warning signs that often pop up long before diabetes is officially diagnosed. And more importantly, you'll learn why catching these symptoms early is absolutely crucial. It could literally prevent serious complications with your heart, your kidneys, your eyes, and your nerves. You'll definitely want to stick around until the end for this one, because that final warning sign, it's one of the most overlooked out there, and it could completely change the way you look at your health forever.
Okay, let's dive into this. We are counting down the silent whispers, the 10 most overlooked signs.
Starting off with our first cluster: thirst, bathroom trips, and fatigue. These are so incredibly easy to just brush off as the results of a busy lifestyle.
Coming in at number 10 is constant thirst. Do you always feel parched, even right after you've just chugged a huge glass of water? Well, here's why that happens. When your blood sugar is high, your kidneys are basically forced into absolute overdrive. They're working frantically to filter out that excess glucose from your bloodstream. And in the process, they pull a ton of water from your tissues, leaving you severely dehydrated and constantly reaching for that water bottle. And that intense thirst directly connects to our number 9 sign: frequent urination. If you're suddenly waking up several times in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, or you're just running to the restroom way more often during the day, it might not just be because you're drinking extra water. It's actually your body's active, desperate attempt to literally flush out that excess sugar. Which brings us to number 8, feeling tired all the time. Now, picture this. You get a full 8 hours of sleep, you haven't really overexerted yourself at all, yet you still feel completely, utterly exhausted. Why? Well, because of problems with insulin. Glucose just can't get into your cells the way it's supposed to. Your cells are essentially the powerhouses of your body, right? So without that glucose getting inside, your body struggles to produce any energy at all. It leaves you feeling totally drained. All right, let's move to our next section and see how excess sugar messes with other systems: vision, wounds, and nerves. Sign number 7 is blurred vision. Now, a lot of people notice this and immediately think, oh, I'm just getting older, time for some new glasses. But actually, high blood sugar can cause temporary swelling in the literal lens of your eye. This swelling physically changes the shape of the lens, making it incredibly difficult to focus. So the real culprit might just be your blood sugar, not your eyesight naturally failing. Wild, right? Number 6 is slow healing cuts and wounds. Have you ever noticed that a tiny little scratch or a paper cut just seems to hang around way longer than it used to? That's because over time, diabetes physically damages your blood vessels, and that damage significantly cuts down the blood flow needed to repair different parts of your body. Without that optimal blood flow, it's just so much harder for your body to fix itself and fight off infections. Which leads us directly into sign number 5, frequent infections. People dealing with high blood sugar are noticeably more likely to develop things like skin infections, urinary tract infections, or recurring fungal infections. And why is that? It's because excess sugar in your bloodstream basically acts like an accelerator. It creates this perfect, sweet environment where harmful microorganisms can just thrive and grow way faster than they ever would in a healthy system. Coming in at number 4 is a massive red flag: tingling or numbness in your hands and feet. You might feel a burning sensation, or like pins and needles in your fingers or toes. Listen, this is an early sign of actual nerve damage caused by high blood sugar. This is one symptom you absolutely must never ignore, because if things remain uncontrolled, that nerve damage can cross the line and become completely permanent. Let's move along and see how this builds with some really strange physical contradictions. This is the hunger and weight paradox. Sign number 3 is increased hunger. Have you ever finished a huge, filling meal only to feel completely starved just a little while later? It sounds like it makes zero sense, but there is actually a very clear biological reason for it. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what's happening. You've got this crazy disconnect. In your bloodstream, you might have an absolute abundance of sugar from the food you just ate. But on the flip side, your actual cells are completely starving for energy. Because they can't effectively absorb and use that floating sugar, they send a panic signal straight to your brain, screaming at you to eat more. It's a disconnect that leaves you constantly hungry, even when you're technically full of sugar. Which brings us to sign number 2, unexplained weight loss. Now, dropping a few pounds without even trying might sound like a dream to some people, but in this context, it is a glaring warning sign. Because your body can't use that glucose for energy, it essentially hits the panic button and goes into survival mode. It starts desperately breaking down your stored fat and even your muscle tissue just to get the fuel it needs. And that's what leads to that sudden, unexpected weight loss.
Okay, the suspense is over. It is time for the number 1 warning sign. Sign number 1 is the appearance of dark, velvety patches of skin. These typically pop up around the back of the neck, in the underarms, or around the groin. It almost looks like a shadow or dirt on the skin that just won't wash off.
Now, what's really interesting about this is that it carries massive clinical weight. This is a specific condition called acanthosis nigricans, and these dark patches are directly linked to insulin resistance. Because this specific whisper from your body can show up literally years in advance, spotting it gives you a huge head start on catching the issue way before it fully develops into diabetes. So let's talk about taking back your health. And please, do not panic.
First off, if you've noticed any of these symptoms we just talked about, take a deep breath. Having these signs doesn't automatically mean you have diabetes right this second, but it is a very strong signal that it's time to speak with a doctor and get a simple blood test. So the crucial point is this: you have the power to change the outcome. By focusing on simple, actionable steps, things like committing to healthy eating, getting regular physical activity, maintaining a healthy weight, and closely following your doctor's medical advice, you can significantly reduce your risk and get that blood sugar under control.
It really all comes down to awareness. Your body is this highly intelligent system, and it communicates through these subtle, silent whispers way before it ever starts to shout at you. So, as we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with one final vital question to think about. What is your body whispering to you right now? And more importantly, are you finally listening? Take a moment today to reflect on your own health signals. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Stay healthy and take care.